Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today I'm looking at some Dynasty buys. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's go. So, first player, obviously, he's in the news, Jordan Addison. And Addison was suspended for the first 3 games for his 2024 DUI incident. So, in Dynasty, this type of thing, it's not a huge factor. Addison is a very young player, many years of his career ahead of him. A 3-game suspension really doesn't affect his dynasty value for me at all. So last year, he was pretty solid. I mean, in 15 games, 63 catches, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns, 99 targets, 4.2 catches, and 58.3 yards a game. Improved, still scored a lot of touchdowns, managed to improve his yards per game. And he had 14.2 PPR points a game, 24th among wide receivers. It's a strong number for a team's clear wide receiver, too. Considering he's playing alongside Justin Jefferson, who's a top 3 real-life wide receiver, he was successful. And I do think he could take a further step forward heading into year 3, especially if J.J. McCarthy is what people are hoping him to be. Now, I do think Addison pretty much is always going to be undervalued because he plays alongside Justin Jefferson, like I said. And, we just don't want players like that, or people don't want players like that. They say, well, he'll never be elite. But you can't have a full starting lineup in Dynasty of only elite players. You need to have other players. Very hard to have 10 elite players. So for those reasons, I still have a spot for someone like Addison in my Dynasty strategy. And he's very young too. I mean, 23 years old, younger than quite a few rookies in this class. So, and again, that's a good reason why I don't care about the suspension. If this was a 32-year-old player, you're talking about something that might be 15% of their relevant dynasty career. For Addison, this is like, what? Not even 2% maybe of what he's got left to go. It's not enough to matter. It's a tiny part of the rest of his career. So the Dynasty Daddy trade database, it's a good resource to look at some trades. You can see the date on those trades. Very helpful. All of these trades, 12-team Superflex, and actually any trade I do on the channel is 12-team Superflex unless I say otherwise. And all of them happened in the last day. So very topically relevant right now. Let's look at the first. So Jordan Addison in the 26th second for Jameson Williams or Chris Olave. So both of those were in there. So I just included them both. You could get Addison and a second for either of those players. Now, for me, I like Addison the most of these players. He is younger than Olave, has, less risks than Olave. And Jameson Williams, Addison's been productive in his 2 seasons. Jameson Williams, not so productive for 2 years and then was okay in year 3. But overall, Addison has a better profile. So to me, if I'm being kind, you're getting a second for free. I have Addison ranked the highest of these 3 players, but I like it. Now, the next, buy Jordan Addison for Jaden Higgins. You're hoping maybe Jaden Higgins becomes Jordan Addison. Is anyone saying that Jaden Higgins is going to overtake Nico Collins? I don't think anybody is saying that. So maybe Jaden Higgins becomes Jordan Addison. Possibly. Who knows? Jordan Addison is that already and is only 23. This makes no sense. I would easily take Jordan Addison here. And then the last one, Dante Thornton in the 26th second. I like Dante Thornton. Probably a sell for me because it's all hype. It hasn't actually delivered anything yet. And Jordan Addison is worth more than this. So, again, you can get him for cheap. I'd explore trying to get him for cheap. Here were 3 ways to do that. Hope it helps. Now, the next player on my buy list, Brian Thomas. Now, I'm all in on BTJ as an elite wide receiver. Nothing has changed. This is another thing. People overrate, other wide receivers coming in. Yeah, there are other wide receivers. There are going to be other wide receivers on the field. But BTJ had an elite rookie year. I mean, it's one of the best rookie years we've had. 17 games, 87 catches, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns, 133 targets, 5.1 catches, and 75.4 yards a game. These are elite numbers. I mean, this is a top 20 all-time season in, a lot of categories. Most wide receivers with this type of production as rookies become multi-time Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers. I mean, you're looking at Odell, you're looking at Mike Evans, you're looking at AJ Green. Those were two very similar ones. AJ Green and Mike Evans, if you were getting the rest of AJ Green or Mike Evans after their rookie year, I mean, how much would that be worth? All their career? I mean, those are very valuable players. So, and if you look at who was a first round pick in that group, it's even better. It's even better of a group. It's really no failures in there. So Thomas is elite. He's going to be elite because of the profile of those who are this good. He averaged 16.7 PPR points a game, 12th among wide receivers. He was a wide receiver in points per game as a rookie, wide receiver 1. Imagine if he gets better. What if he gets better in year 2? Most wide receivers are better in year 2 than they are in year 1. So, this is a very positive sign. Now, why do I have Brian Thomas at Dynasty buy? Why are we talking about him now? Because there are, and this is getting totally ridiculous, there are fears that Travis Hunter, a good prospect who I like, is going to overtake Brian Thomas. The odds of that are slim, but even if Travis Hunter is really good, it didn't stop Chris Godwin being really good, didn't stop Mike Evans from continuing to produce for fantasy. So it's just not really something I'm afraid of. Hunter's a great wide receiver prospect, yes, but he's very unlikely to overtake a wide receiver whose company is multi-time Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, other elite talents. All of them pretty much became multi-time wide receiver 1s for fantasy. And that's not even including the idea that Hunter might play some defense, whatever. I'll say this again, and this is my opinion. You can disagree if you want. Travis Hunter would not have been drafted second overall to play wide receiver only. Period. Wouldn't have been. No way. No way. He was a good prospect. I liked him. He would have been the 4th best wide receiver in the 2024 class. Nowhere near the prospect of Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. A little bit behind Rome Odunze for me as a prospect. Similar value there. Not the second overall pick without also playing defense. That's why he went second overall. There are people who are saying, well, a wide receiver drafted second overall is guaranteed to be successful. That is missing very critical context with Travis Hunter. Now, buying Brian Thomas, I mean, the prices are just too low. I mean, there were so many deals I had to pick and choose. But here's some. Josh Jacobs in the 204. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Brian Thomas should be worth double or triple this in Dynasty. The next 12-team Superflex here, Brian Thomas and Travis Etienne for J.J. McCarthy, Jalen McMillan, and Jonathan Brooks. I mean, what are we doing here? J.J. McCarthy is a maybe to me. A maybe. Maybe he'll be good. Brian Thomas is elite already. What are we doing? I don't understand. And then this last one is I would almost say the most ridiculous. Brian Thomas and Ladd McConkey for Jahmyr Gibbs and Juwan Jennings. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing? These are two players who had very good to elite rookie years for a running back and 28-year-old wide receiver. I mean, what are we doing? This is easily the Brian Thomas side. So I would go look and explore and see if deals like this are happening in your league, because these are real deals from real leagues. So take a look and see if you can buy Brian Thomas. Now, if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. I'm offering a 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using the code TylerYT50. You can click on the link in the top right corner, patreon.com/fantasyadvice, and use this code to sign up. You can get all my rankings, access to Discord, my write-ups, Patreon-only videos, direct message fantasy advice, and the ability to ask and advance questions for the YouTube videos. Tiers begin at just $5 a month, $250 with the discount. If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my Why You Should Join the Patreon videos on the channel. They're on the homepage under Patreon promos. Again, I am offering the 50% discount because I believe in what I'm doing. I think once you try it, you'll stay for more than a month. Now, I'm very active in there. We're talking about every news story every day. Whatever is going on, it's being discussed that day in the Patreon Discord. It's not being discussed in other places because, to be honest, there's hundreds of messages in the Patreon Discord and DMs every single day. So if you want my complete takes on everything, it's only going to come in the Patreon, not anywhere else, especially when we get to redraft season and start sit. Those are only on the Patreon. I don't cover those on the YouTube channel. So if you're looking for my complete content, it's going to be on the Patreon. Now, again, a lot of people have signed up recently, and I really appreciate that. So I'm hoping to see even more signups as we get closer to the season. With that said, I'll jump into my next player. Now, my next buy is Puka Nacua, and I'm talking about this now because of the Matthew Stafford back issues. So Stafford has an aggravated disc in his back. He received an epidural for pain. And, you know, this is a situation a lot of people are talking about. So if you want to be concerned about Stafford, I get it. I get being concerned about Stafford. If you want to fade the older wide receiver in Devontae Adams in Dynasty because you were relying on this year's high-end production and you don't think you'll get it without Stafford, fair enough. If you want to drop Puka Nacua a little bit down your redraft ranks, I could see that. However, fading Puka Nacua in Dynasty is a big, big mistake. And we're going to get into why. So last year in 11 games, Nacua had 79 catches, 990 yards, 3 touchdowns, 106 targets, 7.2 catches, and 90 yards a game. He's actually better per game than he was in 2023, despite all of the injury issues, leaving a game early and getting ejected from another one. Still better per game than 2023. It didn't feel elite because he only had 3 touchdowns on 106 targets. That's very unlucky. That's not going to repeat itself. What if touchdown regression is on his side? Now, he averaged, despite just 3 touchdowns, 18.8 PPR points a game, third among wide receivers. Only Jamar Chase and Chris Godwin were better on a per-game basis than Nacua. Not Justin Jefferson, not Amon-Ra, not Malik Neighbors, not CeeDee Lamb. So he's better than all those guys. And this was with only 3 touchdowns. Now, we talked about the Matthew Stafford back issues, giving you a buying window on an elite dynasty asset. But let's look at some advanced statistics as to why I think this is a time to buy into Puka Nacua. He had a 43.6% target rate in 2024, by far first among wide receivers. So what does that mean? What does a 43.6% target rate mean? It's a great question. This is an insane number. Usually you never see anything close to this. It means that 43.6% of the time he was running a route, he received a target. That's ridiculous. I'm not saying he's going to duplicate it because nobody could. That's an insane number. But elite wide receivers earn targets. No one did better than Nacua at that in 2024. He was by far the best. Now, what did he do with those targets? And what did he do on the routes that he ran? Well, he had 4.07 yards per route run in 2024. Again, first among wide receivers, by far the best. He was 6th in this metric as a rookie, so he's been elite in both of his NFL seasons. He's elite. I mean, I think people just can't get past the 5th round draft capital. He is an elite wide receiver. Would you fade Justin Jefferson if there was a quarterback problem? Would you? Probably not, right? You would stick with Justin Jefferson because he's elite. It's the same thing with Puka Nacua. He's elite. Not maybe, not sort of, elite. He was, per the time he played, the best wide receiver in the NFL last year. So, you know, not treated that way in trades, but that's what we're getting. Let's look at some of the trades. Puka Nacua in a 26 second for A.J. Brown, Woody Marks, and Najee Harris. I mean, put the second on the other side, and I'd still take Puka Nacua. So this is silly. I would take Puka Nacua here easily. The next one, Jordan Addison, Michael Pittman, and Rashid Shaheed. Really? What are you getting there? What is the value of that other side? There's nothing there. I mean, Jordan Addison, we talked about earlier in the video. I like him, but not compared to Puka Nacua. And Michael Pittman is almost a roster clogger. Rashid Shaheed, you know, not getting a lot of volume. So easily Puka Nacua here. And then the last 103 and 203. It's 12-team Superflex here. What are you getting at 103 and 203? That's worth what Puka Nacua is worth. Nothing, of course. This was the most fair of the 3. But I would take Puka Nacua here. Easily. These were not the only deals where I would have taken Puka Nacua. So he's definitely a buy right now. Capitalize on this window in Dynasty. All right. Kyren Williams contract extension. 3-year extension worth $33 million with $23 million guaranteed. So basically, he was due to make $5.3 million this year. That's now probably fully guaranteed. So all told, it's a 4-year, $38.3 million deal, $9.5 million a year. Basically, it's a 2-year, $23 million deal where the other $15 million is mostly non-guaranteed. It commits the Rams to Kyren for sure for this year, obviously, and next year. 2027, we'll see. So it's really adding 1 year of a hard commitment. Now, I would consider using this opportunity to move on from Kyren Williams. If this video topic was Dynasty sells, Kyren Williams absolutely would have been one of the choices. I think people are going to see, well, oh, the contract goes through 2028. It's guaranteed through then. It's not. At best, there's a tiny amount of guarantee in 2027, but really it's 2 years guaranteed. And the Rams are not as committed to Kyren then as it might seem. Now, they drafted Jarquez Hunter in the 4th round and had Blake Corum from the 3rd round last year. I'm not saying either of these guys are going to replace Kyren. In fact, Corum had the audition to do that last year, and he was terrible. He really didn't do that. But Hunter offers an explosive complement. And I do think, can you really have Kyren take 90% of the work forever? He regressed from 5 yards a carry to 4.1 last year. Similar workload. I think the Rams want to dial it back a bit. I know people are going to say, well, you're wrong. They're going to give him all of the work. Not sure. Why bother drafting 2 running backs with 3rd and 4th round draft capital to just not use them at all? I mean, that doesn't feel right. I'm not saying either of them are going to overtake Kyren. They're not going to overtake Kyren. Kyren's going to remain the starter. But I do think we're going to see the volume dialed back a little bit. And it's not going to be what it was in the past. Now, the last piece of news, Keenan Allen signed with the Chargers. I broke this down on Monday because of his visit. I basically broke down all of the impact of this. But it was a 1-year, $8.52 million deal. That's the maximum amount. I'm sure we're going to get an exact breakdown of how much incentives there are to reach this amount. There probably are incentives. How much of it is guaranteed? I went over this fit, though, on the Monday video. Go back, Monday video, 5 takeaways video, and you can look for more detail on Keenan Allen, how I think it affects the Chargers offense and all of that. But now it's official, so we can write it in pen. Keenan Allen will be there. And, my biggest takeaway, like I might have said a little bit there, but I'll say it again. I think Justin Herbert is going to have a big 2025 season. I'm not buying that they're not going to pass. They don't bring in Keenan Allen now after Mike Williams retires if they're just not going to pass. I think they're going to pass. And I think Keenan Allen is going to be a piece of that. So Justin Herbert is a winner. So now we're actually doing the Patreon questions. We've only got one today. Who's at the top of your list of players you expect to gain the most value by the end of 2025? Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, will be more what we thought he was than what he was last year. Teteroa McMillan. I like everything I'm hearing about Teteroa McMillan. So if I could only pick 1 or 2, those would be the ones on my list. I think those 2 players are going to gain a lot of value this year. I'm very confident in both players to have a big 2025 season and be very valuable heading into 2026 and beyond. Now, if you liked the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing. Only a few away from 4,000, so I would love to see that. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Of course, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon. Dynasty and other fantasy football content year-round, redraft starts and all that. 50% discount at all tiers using the code TylerYT50. You can sign up in the top right corner of patreon.com/fantasy advice. Every sign up helps support my independent content. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.